Hello, Professor Toybox here along with Dory, and I'm back in my Tomorrowland toy box to build the Submarine Lagoon and the facade for the Finding Nemo Submarine Voyage ride. And that's going to go right over here. Of course, we have Dory, who's a fish out of water, so I guess we better hurry up and build that lagoon so she has some place to be. So we'll come into the editor, and I've already got this large block selected, and we're going to drop it right over here, and I want to try to line up the texture with the one that's going to be next to it. So looking at that, that should be around like this. And I've already styled it to use the Toy Box Terrain style as the theme. And that's where that's got to go. So that first one's going to go in here just like that. And give me a second here to pull up my screen grab. Okay, so the next size smaller is going to sit right over here off of this end like that. And I think it's going to line up better if we keep it in the same orientation as we had it. And then the next size smaller we're going to put in over here. And this is going to block in the lagoon. So we're going to put a few of these along here. So 1, 2, 3, and a fourth one. And now for the next one over, we're going to switch to this one. This needs to be shorter. So that's going to sit here like that. All right. And then we'll put the next size smaller in here, and I'm going to end up changing the style for that in a little bit. But before we're done with this style, let's come over here, and I want to find my screen grabs here for this section of the toy box. Yeah, so we're going to switch now to this little piece here, and I want to line this up with the back corner of this at that same height and go up 2 nudges. So it's going to sit like that. And we're going to end up restyling that shortly. But then the next one is going to sit down here like this. Yeah. Okay. And then at this point we're going to come over to the right. And we're looking for the ramps. And I'm looking for the small ramp. This is going to descend down into the ride. And we're going to need 3 of these. Like that. And then to kind of plug the gap underneath those, I'm going to come back to use this block here. So we'll put one under there, put one under there. And then this block is going to sit under here, yeah, about like that. Yep. And we're going to put 2 of those down. And then there's one more block we need in this style, and I'm just going to place it for now. We're not actually going to put it where it belongs. It should be right here, but I'm going to set it up here out of the way for the moment. Okay, so that is everything for that style of block. Now the next block we're going to put down is going to be another one of these large pieces here. And this is going to sit right under here like this. And I'm going to change the style for this block to be the Morro Bay Seascape. And I'll just apply that because that's the only block in this theme. That will be the floor of the lagoon. And then this block here, well, let's drop another block where we can a little bit easier more easily see this. So this one's going to sit right on top like that. And for this one, we're going to style this. And I believe this needs to use the desert scape. We'll apply that and see. Yeah, that's the one I want. All right, so I'm going to set that to be my theme. Okay. And the next piece we need to sit in here is going to be the waterfall. So I've got to scroll back over to the left or the right. I think it's about the same distance either way. And get to these pieces. And I want this pond 1 piece. This is going to sit in here like this. And then we'll drop this floating waterfall up there. Like that. And we'll pick up this piece and put it down. Come over here to this corner. Yeah, like that. Okay. And then the next piece is actually going to sit right in here, but we have to drop it down a little bit. Oops. Hang on a second. This piece is the wrong piece. We needed the thinner one there. So that's going to sit in here like this. All right. And while we're on this style, let's go ahead and pick this piece back up and put it down. And there's a couple more pieces we're going to need out of here. We're going to want 2 of these. So I'm going to set one up here for right now and another one up here for right now. And we're also going to need one of these. And we'll just set this up here for right now. Okay, so that's it for that style. So now let's go back over and come back to these. We need another one of these is what we need. We'll go ahead and style this back for the moment to be toy box terrain. And I'm going to pick that up and put it down. And we'll come back over here and drop one more of these down right up there like that. Okay. So that's what we have so far. That kind of blocks in the lagoon. Now, we're going to need our Tomorrowland textures for the last pieces of terrain. So let me come out of the editor and drop down my power disk for the Tomorrowland terrain. And I don't want to switch my whole world to that theme. And let's come back over to this piece and style that. So this is going to use the Tomorrowland theme. I'll set that to be the theme. All right. Okay. Exit out of Spark mode. And then we're going to pick up this piece. We're going to put this down along here. We're going to run a row of these along here. We're going to put 6 of them total. Like that. And one like that. And then we need to cover up this hole under here, so we'll go ahead and add 2 more underneath there like that. We'll put in a pillar here on the corner to kind of support that. And then we'll put some of these around on the edges. like so. And that frames in the entrance for the ride. And then we'll grab this small and thin block and put a ceiling on here. We're going to put down 3 of these, like that. So that's the entrance for the ride. And then along the front, there's kind of an interesting shaped facade up here for the submarine thing. And the closest thing I've found that we have is up under, I think it's building sets group 6, 7. We have this Jakku outpost building, and the shape of that is pretty close to what we actually have for the ride itself. So I want to place this about like that. And that sits on the front of there like that. It's not quite the same, but it's pretty close. It gives the general idea of what's there. Okay, so at this point I'm going to go ahead and go offline and put in the plants for the area down below, because I need to place all of these, and that's going to take a little bit of time. So there's no point in you watching me do that, so I will do that offline, and I'll show you what I've got when I come back. Okay, I am back, and I've placed all of the plants for the underwater area. So let me show you what I've got. And all of the plants that I've placed are, of course, from the first 9 pieces in the plants drawer. And you can see the shapes and the orientation with which I've placed them. And you can pause this video at any time to see what I've done. The exact placement of these doesn't really matter. A lot of these are right up next to each other. And you'll note I'm only using this style piece, not both styles, because I'm trying to minimize the amount of memory that I'm using. And so I haven't used all of the different plant styles, but I've used quite a few of them. I think I've used 7 of the 9. And the placement of the pieces around the perimeter is probably pretty easy to figure out. This piece here, the edge of that right there lines up with the edge of that tree. And you can kind of see, get an idea how far away from the edge of that it is. The left edge of this lines up over here about this point. But the exact placement of this in the middle doesn't really matter. What does matter is leaving enough room to be able to take a ship around in a loop. And so that's what I've done here. So I'll give you one last look at it. Alright, so to style these, we're going to need the Morro Bay theme. And that comes, I believe, from the last update on the consoles. So if you're on the PC, you don't have this, but you could use the pieces for the Nemo theme. They're more of aquarium type pieces, but they will work. I'm going to apply that. And to make it quick and easy, we'll go do all of the pieces of the same type. I don't want to do a theme all because I've got other pieces using the Tomorrowland theme that I've placed earlier, so I don't want to do a theme all. And you'll notice changing these has changed the bounding box. This actually sticks into the wall a bit, so that's why we can't have this theme here as we place these. We got to theme them after the fact. So that makes a huge difference, the order in which you do this. Alright, let's go ahead and do this one next, because I think that's all of those. So all of the terrain corner ones will do now. Because as soon as you go and style a different type of piece, it'll switch back to the beginning of the styling list. So this way it saves us a little bit of time if we do all of the pieces of the same type. Okay, and now we'll do these pieces. See how it jumped back to the beginning? So that's why it's kind of important to do all the same style. Okay, so that's all of those. And then we'll do these pieces next. And the purpose of these is to give you something to look at when you're on the ride. It looks like it belongs underwater. Okay, I believe that's all of those. Let's do this tree next. That gives us these little seaweeds. And there's one more down here. Okay. Then we'll do the big one. And then the little lamppost. Okay, so there is our underwater area. So now we can go ahead and cover this up, or attempt to. So this piece would sit right in here, like this. And just to test, I'm going to make sure this doesn't bump into anything along here. So everything is down below. Good, which means we can now put in the water blocks. So we'll come up to the blocks drawer, go left. I'm looking for the large floor. That's going to sit right in this corner. And we'll go ahead and style that to use the water theme. And if we go to the right, we have to go a little ways to find that. I had thought about using a sky change here instead of these blocks. And that would work fine with one player, but if you have two players, they don't have to both be below in this ride at the same time, so that can be a problem. So I'm going to go ahead now and fill in this area. And I won't make you watch me fill in all of this, but when you get to this point, this is going to sit under here like that as we go along. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will be back in just a moment. Okay, so there is the lagoon. It's all filled in, and everything is hidden from underneath, which is really good. So now we can go ahead and bring these pieces back down. And this one's going to sit in here just like that. This piece is going to sit in front of this one. And the purpose of these is just so this doesn't look so square and blocky. I want it to look a little bit more natural. It uses up a little extra memory to use these pieces, but I think it's worth it. Just so that this doesn't look so square. So that looks good. All right. So we're looking pretty good. All right, let's come over here, and I'm going to pick up this piece underneath here and put it down. And then we're going to switch to this Tomorrowland window columns piece. And I'm going to put this right in here up against the stairs, and we're going to kind of frame in this area. So we're going to put 5 of these across. And we're going to go up and do another level of these. And this is going to hide some of the terrain blocks that we'll need for the Astro Blasters ride. Alright, so there's that. And then over on this end, sorry for the delay, I was looking at my screen grab. This is going to sit with the right edge on the end of the terrain and up against that building, just like that. And again, we're going to go up too high on that. And the ride will eventually sit in there. So that frames in that. And then back down to the plants drawer. This piece is going to sit right in here like this. And this piece is going to sit right around the corner like that. And we'll style all of these in a moment. We're going to put 3 of these along here. Like that. Followed by 1 of these on this corner. One of these over here. And then this piece in here, whoops, like that. And this is going to be the entrance into Frontierland. And I would really have liked to put the Matterhorn over here off the corner of this with a few terrain blocks around it. A couple of terrain blocks back here with some Briar Ridge trees to kind of mimic what we have over in Fantasyland. Because I really wanted to place the Matterhorn here to tie this area in with Fantasyland and show that this area connects to that part of that toy box. But I'm just not going to have the memory for that on my Wii U. So those of you who are on other systems with more memory, you can do that if you would like. Let's go ahead and style these for the Tomorrowland theme. So that one goes like that. This one is that little fountain. And once again, let's do this one at the same time. This piece is going to be this terrain strip, which, by the way, we're going to need one over here as well. So while we're styling that, let's go ahead and put that one in. And this one will be the other strip. Doesn't provide much of a barrier, but I'm already using this one elsewhere, so it saves memory. That's why I would have liked to have put the other trees back there, but again, I've got my memory packed out on mine. On my toy box, so I'm just not going to be able to do that. Oops, there's one more over here. Like that. And then over here, we're going to put in this little piece, but it's not going to sit underneath this terrain block, so we have to style it first. And fortunately, styling this one doesn't mess up the bounding box too badly. So I'm going to set that to be the theme. So we can actually place this in here right where we want it to go. And I can't use the little flick trick with this one. So there we go. That puts a nice little railing across there. So I like that. And then we can also come over here and put this same railing in along here. This will be around the border of Autotopia. And we're going to use this little piece for this. This has to sit in here like that. Let's go ahead and actually style that so we make sure the orientation of that is what we want. Yep. And I believe we can put this right up there next to that. Shouldn't be a problem. Yep. So just like that. So that'll be our border overlooking Autotopia. And then one more piece. Since this area is so barren, we're going to put in one of these trees, and I'm going to line it up with the left edge of that little park piece right there. We're going to bring this over about like this. And let's see. Grab my screenshot here for the orientation of this to make sure I get this right. The little sprig is going to be out that way. So that when we style this, we have it set up like that. And I would have liked to have added a little bit more along here, but that's fine. It adds a little something to break up that area. Again, if you're on a toy box console building this toy box and you've got more memory, you could add a couple of these on either side like we did down here in this area, or even some of these. Or you could build your own little interesting plaza area there. All right. Before I go, I wanted to show you something that I thought was pretty cool. I was playing around with Dory and decided to ride Space Mountain, and this really cracked me up. Looks like she's swimming through space. I love it. Well, anyway, that's my recreation of the Submarine Lagoon. I'll add the logic for the Finding Nemo ride in a future episode. Next time, though, we're going to build Autotopia. Until then, I hope you're enjoying this series of tutorials for building the Tomorrowland area of Disneyland. If you are, please give this video a like and leave a comment before you go. You can also subscribe to my channel by clicking my photo in the lower right corner. That's all for me today. See you next time.